Okay, well this is the episode of the OH2 Garage where we find out what people are prepared to swap for our VP Commodore. And if you haven't seen the VP Commodore, a quick recap on what that car was. Barn find opportunity that I got from a friend of mine, cleaned it up, did a lot of work, got it running, put a whole lot of work into it, and then I tried to swap it out. And here is the list of the cars and motorbikes that we had offered for the swap. Let's not mess around, let's jump straight into it. Car number one, and I'm gonna try and go from almost worst to best on this one. So let's see how we go. Car number one was a Ford Fairlane NC 4-litre auto. As you can see from the pictures, you know, just what appears to be a good survivor car. Has got a 4-litre straight six, had high kilometres, looks like it was a country car. Not quite my cup of tea. If that was a V8, absolutely could do something with that, no problems at all. Next one up was the first of our dirt bikes. And bear in mind, the VP, I had a price of about $4 grand on that one for swap value. So I was looking for something better, better quality, better condition. The Yamaha YZR 450F dirt bike. I'm not a dirt bike sort of a dude. I can ride a bike. I'm not really into dirt bikes though. This one, 450, pretty big bore sort of a bike, pretty big. It's got the pink grip handlebar covers. Suppose it looks okay, but I'm not a dirt bike guy. So next one was a funny one. I've had all sorts of things offered to me, but this one was a cracker. A Subaru Liberty wagon. It was a 2-litre. It had a manual, and it came with photos of not only what looked like a half decent car, it looked pretty good, but also a clutch in a box. And the guy said, oh yeah, the clutch is blown and you got to fit the clutch, but hey, here's the clutch. I'm sure you can work it out. Not really interested. I've done the clutch before on one of those. It's not fun. I don't really have any need for that car, and I don't see it too much of a trade up in value, but we moved on from that one. Next one was the next bike. I personally didn't mind this bike, and I had a look at it, and it's a Suzuki V-Storm road travel bike. It almost looked a little bit too good. It had the side panniers and the bits and pieces at the back. It looked like the dude was using it for traveling around, but bikes are not really my thing. It was a good looking bike. It looked really good. It's got protectors on the side of the motor, and I think if you were looking to do a bit of a trip or something, maybe, but no, not for me. So bike number two, car number two, out the door. The next car that we had come our way was a VE Commodore, which was not bad. I've had VE Commodores before. They're pretty good. They normally have those quad cam V6 motors in them. They need timing chains done and bits and pieces. But what caught me about this was it was an SV6, a silver one. The photos were really dodgy. I've cleaned them up for these pictures here, but you couldn't really get a good shot. They said it was a barn find, hadn't been running for a while, wasn't running, had no rego, and wouldn't give me any shots of the engine bay. So it had photographs of the headlights on, but yeah, moved on from that one quite quickly. Just didn't get a bad vibe. I got a bad vibe on it. Next motorbike was another bike I got a bit of a bad vibe on, which was a Honda CRF 250. It was a dirt bike, looked pretty good. It was the modern style bike with the long seats, and you can tell how much of a novice motorbike rider I am by describing it like that. But hey, if you're into your dirt bikes, I guess that's a good thing. The second picture, interestingly, shows a set of extractors for another bike as well. It looks like a road bike. So, hey, just not my thing. And then, almost to the day, I got an offer after that CRF 250 of this next bike, which was a smaller, same version, a CRF 110. So, for want of a better reason, a glorified off-road postie bike. Hey, I'm sure it'd be a good fun little bike, but it would be like a monkey on a motorbike with me. I'm a pretty big sort of a dude. So the two Hondas I had to say no to. So sayonara to the Hondas. The next one was an interesting one. It was a Mitsubishi Triton 4-wheel drive. And I've got a Pajero, so I certainly know what the Triton is. I'm assuming it was a diesel, could have been a petrol. I've never been a big fan of the Triton. They've got a weird kick at the back of the cab where it joins the rear tub. I just don't, really ungainly looking thing, and it was a night shot. The guy never responded with anything else, so no. Car number 9. I can't believe I'm up to number 9 already. This was an interesting one. It certainly went in a different direction. Holden VN Commodore V6 factory manual. The guy was adamant, factory manual. He wanted me to put $1,500 on top of my VP for this. Now it looked very original. It had rust, it had dents, very original VN. When I said no, I have never seen anybody flare up so angrily online for being refused the opportunity to trade a car, telling me that this was a much rarer car, this was a better car, and that I was getting the bargain of a century. So needless to say, I didn't swap with him. Car number 10 was another VE Commodore. This one was pretty good. It caught my eye straight away. Purple, it's got the G-Max Heritage alloys on it. It's got a HSV front on it. A nice looking car. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you want to swap this car? You know, is the engine blown? Is there something wrong with it? And apparently the story goes, the guy that was trying to swap this with mine bought this from a guy who had spent, you ready for this? $25,000. I don't know where he spent 25 grand. That's a factory color. He's polished it up and he's put some rims, but hey, he told me 25 grand, but he bought it for 13. So he got a $12,000 bargain. But wait, he then wanted me to put 10 grand on top of my VP to get this ute. One, I didn't have the 10 grand to put on top, and two, I'm not Joker from the Batman, so I didn't want a purple ute. Nice ute though, very nice ute. Car number 11 caught my eye. This was a nice looking car, and I soon found out it was the epitome of that 20-foot car. Looks good from 20 feet away. It was an EL Falcon XR6 auto, no turbo, quite stock. It's got the shark fin rims on it, but the blue paintwork, when you looked closely at some of the photos, had really bad orange peel. And when I asked the guy, this isn't a factory color, and he said, oh, no, I've resprayed it and all that sort of stuff. It was a neat, clean car and looked like it would be a good runner, but it was the fact he wanted $3,000 on top of my VP for that EL. I just had to say no. Nice looking car, good luck with the sale. But perhaps I have saved the best deal to last. The last deal came from a guy north of Adelaide. I don't know if he was at Salisbury, Elizabeth or Davron Park. I'm not sure, I'm not going to inquire. However, he didn't offer me one, he didn't offer me two, but he offered me 3 cars. 2 of which weren't running and 1 that ran occasionally. Ready? Strap in. So 3 cars. Car number 1 was the Holden VT Commodore Calais 3.8 litre V6. It did run, this car, looked pretty clean, looked pretty good, did run. It had been lowered at the rear with chopped springs. It had no exhaust. It had X-Force extractors up the front and it had a welded diff, and the front window had rusted out, so water had gotten inside and the interior was now mouldy. So not really the sort of car that I was wanting to get into, but hey, he had a couple of other cars, maybe there was something salvageable there. Car number 2 that he was offering in the deal was a Holden VS Commodore, so the model after mine, 3.8 litre V6 auto. This red Commodore, although it looked quite clean and looked like you could do something with it, was not running because the motor was blown, completely stuffed, and it needed another one. It also needed a roof lining, a right-hand driver sun visor, and a new ignition barrel because he didn't have a key. So I don't know if it was his or not, but I give him the benefit of the doubt for this one. The odometer didn't work, the air conditioner didn't work. It had been lowered with cut springs, it had a sports exhaust, but the fact that it didn't have a key to start it and it needed an ignition barrel concerned me. So we move on, hopefully saving the deal with the third car that was being offered, because the first 2 didn't quite get where they needed to get to. Third car was a Mitsubishi Solara 3.5 litre V6 5-speed. Now, on paper, sounded good. These things are actually really quick. I know it's front-wheel drive. I have had one before in the past and they are very, very capable cars. However, this one was the rare Solara. It had a TJ model front panels and lights, and it had a 5-speed manual and a healthy motor. So that sounds pretty good. It had a sports interior from a later model TF Magna, seats and steering wheel, and it ran smoothly with roughly 286,000 kilometers on the clock. But the odometer was from a TF Sports Magna, and it said 486,000 kilometers on the clock. It had fresh 3 months rego, had a sports steering, it had sports wheels on it from the TF, with 2 tires and 2 that had 50% life. It had a 6x9 speakers on the parcel shelf, but it needed a power steering pump. You could still drive it around, but it was tough to steer. So those 3 cars, unfortunately, just didn't fit the bill. I'm not running a wrecking yard or a Sims Metal outfit, and unfortunately that wasn't going to work. It probably would have cost me more just to tow them all here and swap it over, but hey, I said no. But all these cars aside, I think there end up being 13 cars. We're not taking any of those, but we have got ourselves a swap. And I think without further ado, let's go and see what we've got. I think I've kept you in suspense long enough. What do you reckon? We have a look at what we've swapped our VP Commodore for. And I've got some good news. We've kept it in the Holden family. Ready? Woohoo! And here we go. Here it is. The brand new project car for the OH2 Garage. What we have here is a 2002 Holden Statesman. Lovely, cool looking gold color, gives it a little bit of class. It's not perfect, it needs a whole lot of work, but one of the best parts of this particular car is what's under the bonnet. And this is the engine that I was talking about. It is the mighty LS1 V8. Came from Chevrolet. Holden put it into Statesmans and Caprices and Commodores, and they are a fabulous motor. This one measures 5.7 litres. It's all aluminium and brand new, put out a touch shy, just under 300 horsepower. So horsepower per cubes, it was a pretty good sort of an engine. Very popular, and has since been gone on to become one of the most popular V8 platforms ever produced. It's got a multi-speed auto behind it, and it's got a pretty good soundtrack as well. Have a listen to this. The old Russell Coit thumbs up. I think we've got ourselves a good little deal here. So the engine sounds good and it looks good. Let me take you on a little bit of a tour. 2002 Statesman, has got the LS up front. You can see there's a couple of oil leaks and bits and pieces we're going to need to get sorted out there. But this car was a high K country car. I've got the little cover at the front here, and I want to put the engine cover back on. I want to make it as standard as we possibly can, because I think sometimes these cars can be over modified and they just go in the wrong direction, seeking that extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 horsepower. They don't need it. Just enjoy it as it is. You can see we've got the factory alloy wheels on it. It's got the gold paint. It's got tinted windows. I'm going to see, we may end up going a bit darker on the window tints. I'd like to go for a different set of rims, but at the moment it's all looking pretty good, and it's quite straight as well. When you look down the side of it, there's no major dents or dings. There is one on the other side as well. All the lights and so forth work. Inside, it's got the grey interior. It's quite nice, no rips or anything like that. And this needs a good vacuum out. And in the back, limo spec as you would imagine. Quite a large car indeed. So not a bad way to be. The boot is absolutely huge. You see it's got that cool crest. It's got the Statesman 2 on it as well. So it's the Series 2 Statesman. And in the back there is a spare guard. There's a dash mat. There's also that piece for the engine. It's got a full-size spare, and it also has, have a look at that, a Eurovox CD player changer thing. So that's going to be really cool to see if that works. I'm not sure if it does. I don't think it is. It does have a tow bar at the back as well, which always comes in handy. But all things being equal, it's a pretty good, well-presented car. You know, it's been reasonably well looked after. There's a few issues and a few lights and so forth on the dash, but certainly nothing that can't be cleaned up. Panel wise, it's pretty good. Here's the little dent that we have on the front here. We might be able to do something there with that. But there you go, guys. That was our swap car. We've gone from VP Commodore to OH Statesman 5.7 litre LS1 V8. I think we've done okay. Time will tell. It's going to need a bit of work. I know that I've got to put that work into it. But right now, that's going to be the end of this episode. So do me a favour, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Hope you've been enjoying the content that we have been creating. And hopefully we've got more coming your way with a little bit of a V8 flavour. Stay tuned. I think we're going to have fun with this one. So, did you see the number plate? STA 708. This number plate is a black and white number plate. In South Australia, you can actually order an R or an S series plate quite cheaply, and it becomes a personalised plate. And on our Phoenix, we've got RUN Run 318. This particular plate though, STA, this here was the designation for South Australian Transport Authority. So all the old buses that used to kick around Adelaide had STA number plates. This one was last registered to a bus in, I think, 1977. So we have to call it Project Bus because of the bus number plate. But are we going to keep the STA number plates? Maybe, maybe not. There is a run number plate that looks pretty good and it is available. But for now, STA, Project Bus.